A licensed esthetician for the last 23 years. I remember 23 years ago, well, more than that, 24 years ago, when I decided to go to aesthetic school and how my parents reacted to what it is that I wanted to do. Not only did they have a reaction to me leaving my very good paying position in the San Francisco Bay Area to go to night school and get my aesthetics license and then quit my very good paying job to become a licensed esthetician and work 100% commission, they really couldn't understand what it was that I wanted to do. Now, I did not become a Brazilian waxer until I actually had my first job in San Francisco. I worked at Pure Beauty, and then I worked with a distributor, and then I opened my own business. And I had people that asked me to do Brazilians. I really didn't want to see people naked, so I really didn't do. I did one, but it didn't go well. It took me about 2 hours to do. But when I got with my first collaboration with an OBG, and that was in Alameda, I started doing free Brazilians to become faster. And that's how I got to the 7 minute Brazilian. My parents didn't really quite understand what Brazilians were. So when I opened my business, I still did facials, but majority of my income was coming from Brazilian waxing. And this was before I filmed my first video doing the 7 minute Brazilian. And it was always interesting talking to them because they just couldn't believe that I left that very big, high paying position to rub on faces and wash faces. It wasn't that I was washing faces. It was because I had very bad skin. I had acneic skin, and I just really didn't understand how my skin was just doing this. My sisters didn't have acne. My mom didn't have acne, but I did, right? But when it came to Brazilian waxing, my parents didn't really understand. And so I gave my business cards out, of course, to my mom and dad. And my dad would be like, oh, yeah, my daughter, and she does Brazilian waxing. And he was just saying it like it was the same thing as a facial. And I appreciate them being so forthcoming and sharing what I did. They really didn't understand Brazilian waxing. It wasn't until my dad saw one of my 7 minute Brazilian videos, and I was editing it on the computer, and I left the computer open, and my dad came to the computer because I was back at home. At that time, I had Celine. And he was like, you put a nudie booty on this computer. No, it's my Brazilian waxing video. I said, I'm editing it because I'm going to put it on a DVD. I'm going to burn it, put it on DVD. And so he's not looking at me. He's looking at the screen, talking to me like, this is what a Brazilian wax service is? You're down there in the pub removing her pubic hairs. Yes. This is what you've been doing? Yes. People pay you to do this? Yes. And he's watching the video the whole time. Now I'm standing here trying to talk to him. He's not even turned to look at me. He's just, this is what you went to school to do? I said, no, I do skincare services too, but I do this and I do it really fast. So I'm really good at it. So people pay you to take off their hair and they ain't got no clothes on. No, I can't wax through clothes, Dad. This is what I do. So I'm curious, those of you that do Brazilian waxing, and even those of you that are estheticians and you decided to leave a career and become an esthetician, how did your parents and your family take what you did? Did they really understand, or do they understand what you do? And what was the responses? Because it took a long time for my parents to really understand what I did. And then once I stopped doing services and I opened Smooth Skin Supply, I opened our storefront, I'm online, I started traveling, doing trade shows, they really didn't understand that either. But they never let go of that Brazilian wax. And the fact that people paid me to do the service, and I'm very good. But they just, it took them a while to come around, right? And I always laugh at it because I always tell my dad, like, I can't remove hair through clothes. Of course they don't have any clothes on. He's like, so this is what people pay you to do. I said, what did you think it was? I said, because I kept telling you, you can't tell everybody that you meet that I do Brazilian waxing. They know what I do, but you just out here just telling everybody I do Brazilian waxing. I ain't gonna say it no more. My parents really didn't take it well. And of course, my mother, she was, I don't need, I never had to do anything like that. I don't, I'm just fine. How did your family take the news when you decided to become an esthetician, and even more when you decided to become a waxer and a Brazilian waxer? Let's chat below.